My name is André Rouge.
My name is Catherine.
Et mon nom c'est Aramis. My name is Aramis.
And I was playing the role of the captain, or Capitaine Rochefort.
I was playing Lady de Winter.
And obviously,
Je suis Yves Chapin. Je m'appelle Yves Chapin et je jouais le rôle d'Aramis. I was playing the role of Aramis.
well, I got in contact with the president of the French festival, named Audrey, and I was looking for a partner in order to set up a little show. And I said, look, would you like me to do something with the Muskateer thing? And she was very, very happy about it. And next thing I know, I get Yves to call me and asking if he could actually do something. And I was very, very happy about that. So before we talk about the training schedule, I'd like to also let Catherine talk about how she got on board with the project.
Well, I knew that André Le Rouge wanted to do a little gig about the Muskateer for the festival, and I thought that it would be nice to have a lady in it. So I thought, well, maybe I'll give a try to learn fencing and be part of the trio.
And for my part, I was delighted to be able to be part of the team. Delighted that André would like to work with me. I knew it was going to take a lot of dedication, a lot of effort, and I was willing to pay the price. And the end product is good, and it's only the beginning.
Thank you. So as far as training schedule, obviously because everybody's busy in real life, so we decided that we should meet once a week, Eve and I, to work on the male fighting side of the story. And we met possibly almost every Saturday for about an hour and a half. It was very interesting because I had to pass on all the basics in stage fighting, or stage sword play, should I say, to Yves. And Yves is an extreme, well-behaved and very intelligent student. So he picked up a lot of the techniques, and it was just a pleasure to be working with him, as you saw the result in the end. But it took us 4 months to get there, once a week over 4 months. There's no cutting corners. There's no magical pill that you can actually swallow and go, yep, the next day that's it, I'm a stage fighter or a stage sword player. It just, like everything in life, it needs actually hard work and dedication.
So it was quite tricky to learn and to look the part. But after the 4 months of practice, we put together the two, the salute and the little story, and the sword fighting, and it was fantastic. And so I feel like I would love to learn more and to be more involved, and maybe to be a good fighter.
Catherine approached me first up and said, well, how about a feminine presence in your little number there? Because we only see guys. What about women? Can women do anything at all? I said, well, sure, they can do a lot, actually, on stage. So we watched a few videos of women actually going through the paces of executing techniques in stage fencing and all. And Catherine fell in love with a video of a master of arms by the name of Maître Carliez. Maître Carliez is a very important figure in French stage swordplay since Jean Marais. It goes back all the way to the 1950s. And so Catherine and I, we looked at this video, we studied it, and we modified it a little bit though, in order to suit the venue. And as you know, when you're performing to a crowd, the crowd is generally stationary in one spot, and if you move on stage only a unidirectional, in a unidirectional manner, they miss out on certain aspects of any choreographers for that matter. So it's a good thing for the performers to actually move and use different angles so that the audience can see different aspects of all the performing that is happening. So we decided, yep, let's change that a bit. Let's go for 3 angles, regular straight up, 145 degree to the right, 45 degrees to the left. We'll use a little pivoting in the middle, and away we go. And it'll be fantastic, using grace and all that. And you saw the video, it is pretty good looking, I would say. Yeah. We'll start with Amis, since the show is entitled The Muskateer.
The costume is not mine. I borrowed it from the director, Audrey, and after wearing it, I think I'm going to acquire my own. I really enjoy wearing it. I really enjoy the part. The weaponry, my dear friend André has lent it to me, and again I've already gone online and again will purchase mine in due time.
So I had to do some research about the costume, and I got inspired from the Muskateer TV series, the British TV series, the late one, because Lady de Winter was in there. And and then I looked around Gold Coast, and I found the skirt. This is in a hop shop. This is in a store specialized in this kind of costumes. And this is my son's, who was getting rid of his gloves, and I just saw some what you call it, dentelle. How do you say those in English?
Dentelle, lace.
Lace, thank you. And the hair, I'm a hairdresser, so that was not very hard to do. I went to a wig shop and matched the hair color. I've learned in the past the makeup, so I was having fun to do the makeup. And all of the little glitz, you know, the earrings and everything, you know, it was fun to go and have it for the part.
Well, as you know, the hero story only looks good if the baddie looks even better. So I thought myself of playing Rochefort. What a nasty guy this one is. But symbolically, I wanted to use a color also that represents the darkness. So enters black. It's universal, I guess. And I thought, well, obviously 17th century, the hat with a plume, feather and all that. The rest of the gloves goes on, you know, the large sleeves, the pants that goes in like breeches, and the long boots. Now the rest of it is actually part of different kits that I have for playing either a 17th century sword fighter, or it could be actually a gladiator. In fact, this white belt could be actually used for different epochs or times in history. So it's a matter of mix and matching things that will look fairly authentic to the period, and at the same time you create your own character, the looks of the character. I think this is one of the funnest things we can do, is to create a character where you know you're not going to be this person, but once you step into their shoes, you become that person for a little while. And so you acquire certain tastes and desires and emotions, and you reflect these into the way that you dress, the way you move, the way you talk, n'est-ce pas, madame? So therefore, this costuming part is so essential to playing a character. It's the external side of who that character is. Now, going to the weapons, because that's also a fun bit, Eve is actually holding an Olympic weapon that has been tinkered with. To explain very quickly, the blade is a triangular blade, and it's ending up with a rubber button for safety. This guard here is of the saber style, and then you have a grip. This grip, if we can show this way, you may be able to see that there's a bit of a curve and all that. This is called a French grip, and it is ending at this end with a button to actually make sure that the blade has a full tang, the grip goes onto it, the guard goes onto it, and obviously this button is there to secure the whole assembly. The other thing that I need to add about this, there's a bit of velvet inside, so as you slip, whether it's the thumb or the fingers, the index finger, you do not actually smash your fingers on the inside, which would be metal, and over time to avoid blisters. The other thing that is important to understand, if I may, is the flexibility of this weapon. As you can see, it does actually flex a fair bit. The only times where it's not that flexible is actually on the main, can you see this line here, the back of the blade? This would be the belly of the blade. So this here does not bend very well, but the rest it does. With all weapons, it is very important to keep safety a number one concern. And all actors need to be actually taught the proper way to handle the weapon, obviously, not only for themselves, but for the people that are involved, the other people around them as actors, but also the crew as well. As movement is required, we need to watch, for the boom, for the spotlights, the cameras, and everything else. So it is quite stage fighting or stage sword playing. To some people may seem to be something very simple, but there's so many variables to be taken into account that we need to these skills need to be taught. May I attract your attention to this rapier on the back there? So this is a beautiful weapon, and this is mainly a decorative weapon. This one in particular is not actually to be used in an actual choreography because it is not sturdy. However, the looks of this weapon, Monsieur, voulez-vous tenir? Merci beaucoup. The looks of this rapier, which is a typical sword of the 17th century, is actually that of the Musketeers, and then other forces would actually use that. The Cardinals soldiers would also use rapiers. The interesting bit is that all this intricate work is not only aesthetic, but it's also used to protect the hand of the wielder from actually slashes. So the way to hold it, if I may demonstrate, is to actually insert your hand like so and put the index finger in this particular area. So for the rapier, the way that it looks like, there has been, merci monsieur, there has been actually several generations of rapiers, and they haven't not always looked this way. So in time, all weapons evolve in different shapes in order to satisfy certain requirements, speed, lethality, mode of transportation. So it gets pretty complex, but if one is interested in weapons, looking up swords is quite an interesting subject.
Well, the excitement is that we are presenting something new to the Gold Coast. It's new, and yet it's 400 years old. The excitement is that there's so many facets that are involved. There is discipline, there is strength, there is elegance, there is showmanship. When you put all that, it makes like a nice meal. You want to eat it. The show is going to get bigger, it's going to get better, much more involved, much more intricate, faster, longer, but the story will always be there. The show is about a story. The story of the Musketeers, the story of the 17th siècle period, where the Musketeers represented the army of the king, and they were there to defend the king. They were there to defend the honor. And to be a Musketeer was a proud moment. It was an honor to be chosen amongst all the would-be's and never-be's and never were. When you were called a Musketeer, there was an elite sound to that name. So that's the excitement of it. Presenting to the Australian public, basically to the English public, the real French untold story of the Musketeers.
For me, it's the romantic side of the women's and the beauty of the movements. Of course, the stories, and I think feminine presence is a must, because I think that women's girls, they only see weapons only for boys, but women can do it, and they've done it for a long time. So I think that's exciting, and the music with the movement is great, and of course the costumes is great. So that's what I like about it. Andre?
Excellent. For me, it's an opportunity to actually showcase some skills and some history. Obviously, the theme of the Three Musketeers is something that is, I was going to say, fairly universal. It's always the fight between good and evil. And that will never change as long as we're human beings. We will always have, I believe, these struggles. It just happens to be that in this particular case, we're dealing with French counterparts, people that are going to be experiencing love, hate, all the full range of human emotions, the tools of the trade to defend the king and what we have. In my case, it'll be actually the interests of the Cardinal Richelieu, the opposing force. All of this makes it for a great story that will last forever. I think that Hollywood has proved it, actually, that the theme of the Musketeers never grows old, actually. So what it means for us is carrying on the tradition, really. That's what I'm thinking about. Having fun while we're doing it. And as we do it for fun for our own selves, more is actually giving this fun bit the opportunity for spectators to actually forget their everyday worries. For a moment, they are with us.